The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, hello. Thank you very much for attending our Ask and Learn Geothermal educational series. And today we're going to focus on understanding the United States federal tax credits and how we can take advantage of the 30% tax credit for geothermal installations. So with me today, I have Mr. Doug Rye. Mr. Doug Rye is with us today and is working here on advancing some slides here for you folks. And so today, my name is Tim Wright, and I work for Enertech, manufacturer of geothermal heating and cooling equipment with Enertech Global. And Mr. Doug Rye, are you on the call with us today?
I certainly am. Thank you for letting me be a part of this because you know how much I believe in geothermal.
Fantastic, Doug. Thank you for joining us today. And can you just give me a snapshot? What's your history? You've been in geothermal a long time.
Well, probably before you were born. Not quite that long, but we're close to 30 years now. I'm very, very privileged and blessed to have been a part of it almost since the beginning of time of geothermal. I've watched it develop through all these years, and it's so marvelous. And it's just, Tim, it's just reached a point where we're like with this 30% tax credit, it's really just become to where it's almost a no-brainer. I can't comprehend people not just jumping on board everywhere fast as they can.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Doug. Well, just a little follow-up on that. GeoComfort systems are built by Enertech Global, and we have actually just celebrated our 20th anniversary on May the 2nd of this year. So we're extremely proud of that. And everything that we manufacture, both for residential and commercial applications, are all made in Mitchell, South Dakota. But our corporate office is located in Greenville, Illinois. And again, we do sell our products throughout the United States and Canada. And certainly for residential and commercial consumers, we are very, very focused on making sure that we bring a reliable quality product to the industry. So with that in mind, how to get the most out of this webinar that you folks have joined us for is please feel free to just take some notes. And also, we have a little question bar over on your right-hand side where you can actually type in a question, and we'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you to the best of our ability. And from there, I'm just going to ask that you also take it upon yourself and research and just do some reviewing as you see fit, and you're certainly more than welcome to reach out to us at any point in time. Now, obviously, with a title in a seminar webinar like this on the 30% federal tax credit, if you'll humor me, this information in this presentation is for general information only. It is provided with the understanding that Enertech Global, LLC, is not providing tax, accounting, legal, or other professional advice. This material should not be used as a substitute for expert advice from a tax, accounting, or legal professional purpose. So please understand that we are here to help you in any way we can, but we're always going to ask you to consult your local tax or accounting professional with regards to anything regarding the geothermal installation in your residence or your commercial application. So with that, let's just touch on the tax credit itself. And my goodness, Doug, just think back. We've really had this tax credit since 2009.
And we were selling, we were doing geothermal. You all sell it. I just teach it, as you know, on the radio and on seminars, etc. And yeah, for these years, it's been there available. And many, many, many have taken advantage of this. And I get a call in my office at least one or two every single day. And I help people run those numbers to see what a great deal this is. And Tim, we were doing geothermal way before tax credits, But when you throw a 30% federal tax credit on there with that, it literally, folks, makes using geothermal, converting to, or on your new house, either one. I don't know if these are good words or not, Tom. Tim, it makes it a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it certainly does, Doug, and you're right. Even dating back to the 70s and 80s and the 90s with regards to geothermal installations all over the country, including Canada, even where people would speculate that it wouldn't work, it does a marvelous job in those applications too. But Doug, we're kind of heading toward a sunset time. Can you talk a little bit about when this is going to wrap up, at least for right now?
Well, we have to assume, based on everything I can find out, and I think y'all have been checking on this every day nearly too, like I have, what we've found out is that this is supposed, the way it's written now, this tax credit, it will expire December 31st of this year, 2016. I don't know if it's going to be extended or not. I just don't know that. I've told people on the radio it's 50-50, and now I'm really not sure it's even that sure thing going to happen. So what Tom Hunt and I, as you know, on a radio show, been telling people, get her done, get it done. I mean, if your system you have now is older, several years old, I've had several recently who really didn't need the money and all that, but their systems in their homes are 15, 16, 17 years old, and they want to put a new system in, not worry about it anymore for the rest of their life, and they're doing it. But yeah, I don't know. We'll go on. It'll go on no matter, even if we don't have it. But again, if you'll let me say this, right now it's never been more feasible than it is right now.
Yeah, well said, Doug. To get it done, and it is certainly feasible right now. And I think we've talked about this before, Doug, as people get into the summertime and into the fall, and people continuing to realize that this deadline is approaching quickly, the geothermal installers are going to be busy, aren't they?
Well, I've told some folks you may want to get this done next month, but the drillers, particularly the drillers that do these loops, I think are going to back up to where they're going to have real difficulty getting them all in before that magic date. So I don't know that, but sometimes you have to wait a little while anyway to get them in wherever you are. So that's not going to get any better, I think. But yeah, Tim, I've told people this, and so many people don't. I've been doing geothermal and teaching and helping low-income families and rich people too for so many years. And the radio shows now, just a few more months, it'll be on the air for 25 years. And we were teaching it almost at the beginning when we started radio 25 years ago. My own family's had geothermal for 26 years. And I mean, and of all these thousands and thousands and thousands of systems that I've been privileged to help people find good dealers and get her done, there's almost zero. There's a few that have bad installations, but almost none of them have ever said to me ever, I wish I had not done geothermal. But I've had many tell me that they did all the energy efficient things I've taught them through the years, and that they wish they had done the geothermal also. So this is the time. I don't know any other way to say it. Get her done now.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Doug. And we'll touch on a little bit more of some of the stories that you've had that you can share along the way. But as we move through this, just understanding just the clear basics of the program, this certainly can be used to offset the alternative minimum tax. It can be used in multiple years, and we'll address that one at the end. And it can also be combined with other energy efficient upgrade credits. How nice. So again, we just talked about that, whether it be wind or solar. Again, what an opportunity to be able to get the best of both worlds with some of those other alternative energies with geothermal right there in the middle of that as well. Can be used on multiple homes. I think this is a huge opportunity, whether people just have one home that they want to energy retrofit, or if it's a new home, or whether they even have a second home or a third home somewhere else, it can be used, obviously, in multiple homes. And then no cap on the tax credit. How marvelous is that? So whether we're looking at a geothermal system, Doug, for a 600 square foot home, or I don't want to stretch the numbers, but you and I have both heard of some 30 and 40,000 square foot homes also wanting to do geothermal.
Oh, how true it is, Tim. I mean, I personally have been involved in small apartments with geothermal. I've been personally involved in one-bedroom houses with geothermal. And right at this very moment, while we have all sizes that are installing and taking advantage of the tax credit now, and some of those houses are 6,000, 7,000, 12,000 square foot houses, it's simply feasible and works on that. Can I make a statement about payback? Is that coming up here in a moment?
Oh, please do. You're welcome to roll in there now.
You know, and I'm not as smooth as y'all are there. I'm an old country boy, you know, and but people have asked me through the years, say, well, what's the payback? What's the payback? And I always say something really corny like this: a whole lot faster than carpet. You know, and I was saying that even before the 30% federal tax credit was here. So if it was feasible. But just look at it, folks, as an investment. Recently, I've had some builders tell me who have never done geothermal before, and they've started looking at it closer, and all of a sudden, some of them have told me, when I put the pencil to this, there's nowhere that I can invest my money and have a return like I do when I put geothermal in my house. And some of them who've been kind of hard-headed through the years on this all of a sudden are saying, good grief, this is a great investment, and it is truly a great investment.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for adding that in, and that's so true. Whether it be carpet or granite countertops or what have you, you truly have an appliance that will give you that return on investment. Well, let's take a look just really quick at what's covered in a geothermal system with regards to the tax credit. And here's really what you've got: your basics of your geothermal heating and cooling system, which many of these systems are built in with what they call a domestic hot water assist. And that certainly qualifies as well to hook it up to your hot water heater. And then obviously whatever type of loop system. And that's our geothermal heat exchanger that we have to put in the ground. So whether it be a vertical bore or a horizontal installation or horizontal bore, you may have a pond, Doug, that you might want to lay this down in if you have a nice depth level and a nice body of water for heating and cooling. But the only thing is they just don't allow you, from an IRS standpoint, they did a reclarification and said not including the ductwork. And the reason for that, Doug, is they just felt that you're going to have a delivery system anyway with any type of heating and cooling system. So it appears that they've kind of backed off of that. So you're not able to put the ductwork in your 30% federal tax credit. But my goodness, everything else, what a wonderful opportunity.
What other system is there, folks, that will give you, we'll use the word free, almost free hot water for your house all through the summer months? My own home, where my wife and I have lived now 13 years, and we've had geothermal, like I've told you earlier, about 26 years. But in our home, we call it our new house. It's 13 years old now. Tim, about just a few weeks ago, our house went into the mold. We live in Arkansas, and this would be true anywhere in the South for sure. From about April 15th to October 15th, we used basically zero electricity to do the hot water in our home. What other system is there? You went through that kind of fast, and I know we can't take lots of time. There's nothing else, Tim, nothing else, no other heating and cooling system that does this like geothermal gives it to you.
Absolutely, Doug. Thank you. And great points on that with the hot water heating as well. But obviously another standout fact is there's no outdoor equipment either. So your geothermal system, either in your basement or crawl space or attic area, in your loop field in the ground. So no unsightly equipment above. Now let's just take a look, though. We are going to stand pretty firm, and Enertech and GeoComfort pride itself in having all of our products that are tested and certified and available for anybody to research and find them as an Energy Star qualifying model. And again, Doug, we've talked about this. This tax credit's for new or existing houses.
Oh, the calls I get in my office, about half are new and about half are existing. And we just say, run the numbers, folks. That's what we say. And you know, we work with people all over America, Tom and I do. And we don't sell it. We just teach it. Run the numbers, folks. Just run the numbers. I make people on the phone, I promise them, say, just promise me you'll look at it and run the numbers. If it's feasible, which it really is now, boy, I mean it is, then do it. If it isn't feasible, don't do it. That's how it is. And it's just, just run the numbers on it.
Yeah, great point. And again, it always comes back to that personal choice of whether it truly makes sense for everybody. So thank you, Doug, for sharing that. But again, we cover the ground loop is looked after, all of your piping and your labor in order to put in your geothermal system is covered in there. Now, how do you claim it? This is always an interesting point that we get contacted close to the end of the year, and we have tax certificates available on our websites for our branded products. But you'll also be able to just grab, and you see this form here, IRS Form 5695, and that allows you to be able to reach back to your tax professional, and then they can actually help you with the paperwork and make sure that you are taking the right amount from a qualified standpoint. And just please make sure, Doug hit on this earlier, but let's get that filed before 2016 as your deadline approaches. So let's also take a look at some of the other opportunities, Doug. You know this like I do. It's not just a federal tax credit. What else do you see, Doug? And I'm just going to lay these out here for you and let you talk through a few of these.
Okay, I'll do this hurriedly, okay, but there's utility companies, and they vary all across America. I don't know all of them by any means, but I do know that in some areas there's also very good rebates available on geothermal systems, which makes this cost 30. The government does 30%, and the local utilities or there's other agencies out there too that give you, and there's you just start looking for them, and you may find other rebates and such that also help out on this. And I don't know all of them, but many of them are there. Your electric co-ops, who I've worked with all across America, many of those have that type of thing. Plus some geothermal manufacturer rebates, and just get them all. And again, folks, not to be just so short on it, but you do this and you learn that it's a no-brainer. It simply is. To have the best there is, it's a no-brainer.
Very good, Doug. Thank you. And allow me, if I can, to just touch on some geothermal manufacturers. There are rebates or incentives. Feel free to check out geocomfort.com, and you'll see what we call our Geothermal Friends and Family promotion right now. And that's for anybody who already has a geothermal system installed in their own home, irregardless of the brand. We're asking for that opportunity to reach out and have a conversation. And if you're interested in a free estimate, again, if you have a free or if you have a geothermal in, then we'd be more than happy to either pay a few dollars to you to refer us to another family or friend you may have, or if you're looking at changing that unit out yourself, then all those rebate dollars would come right back to you. So allow me to continue here, but we certainly have financing options available as well for anybody that's interested or has a retrofit existing home location that they don't intend to build a new home, and they certainly intend on staying. Wonderful financial options, financing options for them. Now, the one thing that Doug and I would also ask that you folks take a look at is go to www.dsireusa.org, dsireusa.org, and that is a database of state incentives for renewable and efficiency. So anything going on within your local state, you should be able to find if there's additional tax credits via state or through the electric utility. So I guess just wrapping up here, I would like to say thank you very much for taking the time to join us. And I do see, Doug, that we've got a question that's been posted on the webinar. And It says, is there a limit per year on how much you're credited during the calendar year? So can you carry the rest over if you didn't pay as much into your federal tax?
As I understand it, of course, and many have told me this. The answer to that is yes. For example, if you paid in $10,000 on your tax there, and your 30% tax credit was actually more than that, let's just say $12,000, then my understanding is that first year you could take the $10,000, and the second year after that, why you could take the other $2,000, and that's how I understand it.
And Doug, that's also how we understand it as well, is people that have received that and had to carry over, that's what they've been able to do. But again, if it's okay, I think we go back to saying, just please check with your local accountant and make sure that you handle it in an appropriate way, that way.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. Obviously, you can go back to geocomfort.com and use our savings tool calculator, or there's also a dealer locator where you could actually find a dealer in your area where you could obtain a free estimate so that you can see if geothermal is right for you, as Doug and I have shared with you today. Now, Doug, just another question that comes up as well is with regards to tax credit versus tax deduction. And I know this always trips up a lot of people, but if I can, I'll just share this with you. A tax deduction, as I understand it, reduces the amount of your income that is considered taxable by the IRS. That's a tax deduction. That's not what we're referring to. When we talk about a tax credit, that is actually a determination of the amount of taxes that you have to pay, and it's dollar for dollar reductions. So just back to your example, Doug, is right on to how we understand it as well. Any other last minute points, Doug, you'd like to share with folks before we sign off on this webinar?
Well, just another question that often comes up too, is it eligible for my new apartments or my apartments that I own now? And that answer is, again, go to your tax advisor, but it is different on commercial, and it is different like on apartments and such as that. But if I can end it up with this, I just want to tell the folks again this, that I've been doing this for many, 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 many years, and it's just, Tim, I think it's the answer to our nation's energy problems, and I don't know how we can get someone to please understand that some of the other things that the nation's doing is not really the answer. And I don't want to get into that, or I'll be with you 3 more hours, you know. But geothermal, geothermal has all advantages. People say, what is the one disadvantage? And folks, there is no disadvantage that I know of to doing geothermal on your new house or retrofitting to geothermal existing house. It's all advantages.
Yeah, thank you, Doug. And as you said, you have been living this. You don't sell it, but you certainly have tried to help people from an education standpoint. And speaking of that, anybody that is either on the webinar, you're more than welcome to go back to www.youtube.com/EnerTechMFG, and you can review this very same webinar or other webinars that we've already posted and recorded. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity for joining us, and please watch our websites for any additional upcoming webinars, and we'll be more than happy to help you. So with that, I just want to say so long, and thank you, Mr. Doug Rye. It's been an honor having you as a guest.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you very much, and I appreciate everybody staying with us in the Ask and Learn Geothermal Educational Series, Understanding the U.S. Federal Tax Credit. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.